Welcome to On Point, Breeders' Cup pre-entry edition. James, they're finally out, the official pre-entries for the World Championships. 13 races. We'll know the draws on Monday. Of course, Breeders' Cup itself next week. And given how Keeneland is, sometimes inside, outside, etc., I'm not a big draw guy, but I think it's going to make a difference in some of these races.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And, we're also waiting to see how much, there's going to be some rain on Sunday and Monday and perhaps, in the middle of the week. So we're waiting to see a little bit what the conditions. Friday and Saturday look pretty good, though, in the advanced forecast. So optimistic we'll have fast and possibly firm conditions.
Yep, back to the question I actually asked, though. I didn't mention the weather, but thank you for doing that. The post draws. Classic only has 10, long run to the first turn. I don't think it'll be as much of an issue there. But to me, the dirt mile and just the dynamics of the sprint, those to me are the two races, and all the turf races, but especially on the main track, those are the two that I think it's going to make a big difference.
Right, oh, for sure. I mean, the sprint, obviously the favorite, Run Happy, I think I've got an opinion with him a little bit. Inside post is a concern, a serious concern. And that race is just, it's going to be interesting to see how fast they go with Private Zone and Favorite Tail in there. Both those horses can motor. I wouldn't be surprised to see 21 flat, 20 and 4, something like that, crazy. And they could come back to the closers in that race.
Yeah, we'll talk more about handicapping the TwinSpires sprint certainly next week. But to me, you'll definitely get people poo-pooing the whole inside thing with Run Happy if he were to happen to draw there. And to me, it comes down to, look, if he were 10-1, I'll take my shot with the horse who's blitzed his competition his last two starts. The King's Bishop, that was a great price that I missed out on. We're not going to get that again. But as the favorite or co-choice against the likes of Private Zone and other older Grade 1 winners, I'll take the excuse to try to beat him for sure.
Absolutely. I think I'd bet any amount on him being the favorite. And, Judy the Beauty could be the favorite in the Filly and Mare Sprint. She's lost all 3 starts this year as a heavy favorite in all her races. Untappable, another good example. She's 1 for 6.
Good example for you. I'm going to pick her.
Well, yeah, but if she's a short price and, you can look at her PP lines
Absolutely.
and one race after another losing as a favorite, those are negative signs for me.
I agree. Typically, that's not where I go. But I do think this is a year, the two we mentioned, maybe you can beat some favorites, and I'm against the biggest favorite of all, American Pharoah in the Classic, since I'm such a big Beholder fan. So we'll definitely talk about all that more in depth, handicapping-wise. But I do think because of the venue, and as you said, the weather will play a role in training earlier in the week. But to me, more than usual, the early part of the week and everything that's going on is a lot more interesting than it has been for this Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, and you mentioned the post might not be a serious factor in the Classic, but it really does come down a little bit with Beholder and American Pharoah. It is going to be important where they draw in the starting gate because they're going to be playing off each other a little bit. I figure both jockeys taking a peek to see what the other one's doing.
Sure. Veteran jockeys who know each other from their home circuit in Southern California. And my point there wasn't necessarily a post doesn't matter at all, but that with 10 versus 14,
right,
it's less of a factor. But I agree where they draw and race tactics. That is a decent run to the first turn, and it's not like the Derby with 20 horses where you're just looking for position. They're going to be playing chess from when the gates open.
The one thing to remember, though, the dirt mile, I'm just, because of that short run to the first turn, people will be like, hey, if you're in post 10, 11, 12, it's essentially like the kiss of death. But sometimes these posts, Lures, perhaps the most famous example, but last year, Karen Conti and Main Sequence both ran big races from post 12 in turf races. So, I'm not going to, put too much importance on post per se, but it is important.
Yeah, and the mile winner was a huge price too. So even if you thought, well, I don't love outside posts, if you liked him, that wouldn't be a reason to come off him.
Right.
I agree. Well, I look forward to talking about all this and more next week. We'll be out there at various times, certainly for the live racing, but hopefully for the draws themselves, and we'll have some immediate reaction after that. And that's the Distaff and Classic Monday night. And most importantly, for all the Brisnet users out there, PPs will be available that night, brisnet.com/BC, and will be available next week for lots of winners.
All right. Looking forward to Breeders' Cup week.
All right.